On Saturday, Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger will be sworn in as the 75th governor of Virginia. While she joins decades of history, she's also making history as the first woman to hold that office. Spanberger's election created more across the Commonwealth, including Northern Virginia, where the local delegates on your screen have been tapped for her cabinet. Two of them have been replaced in special elections. The special election, though, to replace Delegate Mark Sickles is next Tuesday, and he joins me now, outgoing delegate for House District 17 and the incoming Secretary of Finance. Thanks for being with us tonight. Let me ask you right off the bat, how did you learn about your appointment?
Well, I went through a series of 3 interviews. The third one was with the governor-elect herself, and she offered me the job before I left that interview. So it was an interesting process. They have a very thorough vetting process for people who want to join her cabinet and work in the administration. It was nothing terribly, different than anyone going to any job interview anywhere in the private sector.
All right. Well, the Secretary of Finance is tasked with everything from collecting taxes and paying bills to distributing aid. And I'm curious, in your estimation, what is the current financial health of the state?
The state is in pretty good financial condition, considering what's happened to us with these body blows with the federal government. As you know, we're highly dependent on federal spending. It probably hasn't hurt us as bad as our 2 neighboring states in D.C. and Maryland, because we're so tied to the defense economy, or more tied to the defense economy. But and we have a very diverse economy otherwise too, with everything with our international trade economy through the Port of Virginia and Dulles Airport and the trade we do there, and other economic engines around the state, are highly regarded university system and research and things like that. So it amazes me how we are this is not a party time by any means. We have a budget that the outgoing governor's left us. It's pretty traditional budget that we will make changes in it for sure. But we don't have, have money laying around to spend. Every spending decision going to be carefully considered by the governor.
How dependent would you say is the state on federal transfers, and is that really sustainable?
It's dependent on them, and it has been sustainable through the years. I don't foresee the government going with what we have in Virginia, the largest seaport in the world, in the Navy has, and all the investments by the Air Force and the Army installations, and a lot of this saber rattling the president's doing now. Usually that really gins up our economy, and now this new adventurism around the world will probably help plus up our economy again. But I think that we do need, and we always have needed, to diversify our economy. We've done it a lot since I've been here. We have Nestle, we have Volkswagen, we have Hilton Worldwide, we have Amazon too, the big one. So we have done a lot to diversify over my time here, but the government needs what we do. I mean, our federal workers are important, not only for our economy, but for the nation's national security and the welfare of our citizenry.
All right, let's talk about your first 100 days in office. What would you say are your top 3 priorities there?
I need to get to know the agencies that directly report to me, and I also want to do a review of all the agencies and how they're handling their information system software stuff, because one of the hardest things to do in government is to buy systems and buy software, because of it going out of date so quickly, and what we do is so complicated. The reason we need to do that, lots of reasons, but we have new requirements in the healthcare space in particular. We have to reduce our error rate with the SNAP benefit. We have new Medicaid eligibility requirements that need new systems to manage. We have an unwieldy system where our social service departments are not directly operated by the state. We have 120 local departments of social services, and we need to get them to work together to get our SNAP error rate down, because the consequences of that under current law are pretty harsh. We could lose up to $270 million worth of benefit, worth of food benefit, which, as you know, has always come from the federal side. The states administer the program. The federal government provides the benefit.
All right, so the challenges are obvious, but let's ask about another one that Governor-elect Spanberger really ran on, which was affordability. What are the concrete steps that you think this administration will need to take to address the rising cost of living?
I think we need to look at energy and how to get energy costs down. We need to look at all of our systems. Are we doing the most efficient things we can to lower energy costs? We also need to make life easier for people to get to work. We need to fund the metro system. It's a high priority in Northern Virginia. That is an expenditure, but it will make lives of Northern Virginians, and the whole metropolitan D.C. area work better. So we're working on that, and some other initiatives that will help with housing. Housing is a big issue. We've got a historic number that's flattened in our housing trust fund, but we need to look at other ways to trigger the housing to get the cost down so people can afford to live in our area.
Yeah, some big issues there that affect a lot of people, and this may dovetail right into my last question, Delegate, but how would you define success at the end of your term as Secretary of Finance?
I mean, hopefully I make it 4 years. We keep our AAA bond rating, which we've had since 1938. We've been fiscally responsible but progressive in reaching out to make sure every child has a good education, that we have early childhood education covered, that our kids can afford to go to college, that we can keep our tuition down. Those are really big things, that we protect our lands and natural resources, that take the next step in doing all that, invest in our park system, which needs hundreds of millions in deferred maintenance. So all those things would add up to a successful 4 years. You know, I don't like promising the moon. I like saying we're going to do better next year than we did this year. Then next year we're going to do better than we did the previous year.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your insights and laying out some of those goals for the future.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
You got it. We'll talk again soon. Meanwhile, 7 News is on your side with complete coverage of Virginia's 75th gubernatorial inauguration. That ceremony is Saturday at noon, and you can watch it all live on WJLA.com.